By the way, did you guys see the thing where they actually knew about Epstein and then it was suppressed? Like the info about Epstein, and there was like that video with the journalist that was crying because they were like, I already knew the story and I made a whole report on it, and then they suppressed it. Yeah, the Veritas video. Have you guys seen it? Yeah, if you guys didn't see this, like they already, this is in regards to the Epstein thing. They already have everyone and like Clinton and everything, and they suppressed the story. Yeah, back when Veritas was good, yeah.
I've had the story for 3 years. I've had this interview with Virginia Roberts. We would not put it on the air. First of all, I was told, who's Jeffrey Epstein? No one knows who that is. This is a stupid story. Then the palace found
this was before the whole thing, the whole scandal.
Out that we had her whole allegations about Prince Andrew and threatened us a million different ways. We were so afraid we wouldn't be able to interview Kate and Will that also quashed the story.
I remember hearing about Epstein in the 90s. It was so crazy I couldn't believe it. I mean, Lolita Express?
I mean, yeah, that's what I'm reading a book on it right now. I'm reading the book on it right now.
And then Alan Dershowitz was also implicated in it because of the planes. She told me everything. She had pictures. She had everything. She was in hiding for 12 years. We convinced her to come out. We convinced her to talk to us. It was unbelievable what we had. Clinton, we had everything. I tried for 3 years to get it on.
Can you imagine like having all of that info? You're like, dude, I have evidence on these people, like these really famous people, and then they just squash it, and then it comes out later. And like you had done all the work, you had already found out all the stuff, and then now it's like breaking news, like years later after they told you, like, you don't release that story.
To no avail.
Bullshit,
and now
right?
It's all coming out, and it's like these new
How many more girls were victimized because they didn't let this come out?
And I freaking had all of it. I'm so pissed right now. Like every day I get more and more pissed because I'm just like, oh my God, what we had was unreal. Other women backing it up. Hey, yep. Brad Edwards, the attorney, 3 years ago saying there will come a day when we will realize Jeffrey Epstein was the most prolific pedophile this country has ever known. And I had it all 3 years ago.
Would you raise your right hand, please?
Yes.
Do you solemnly swear the testimony you're about to give will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
Yes, I did.
First of all, I was told, who's Jeffrey Epstein? No one knows who that is.
So it's a hot mic.
It was
a hot mic.
Unbelievable what we had. Clinton, we had everything. Then the palace found out that we had her whole allegations about Prince Andrew.
Yeah,
and
because remember, Prince Andrew was implicated in the whole thing. Like there was like photos and stuff of like this was like there was like photos and stuff of him with like
us a million different ways.
At Epstein's place.
I've had the story for 3 years. I've had this interview with Virginia Roberts. We
like
would not put it on the air.
like really famous people are like really implicated in this. It's crazy.
That's tape leaked to us by our latest network insider. This brave insider works at ABC News. ABC News anchorwoman Amy Robach is talking to her producer on a hot mic. She says she had the Jeffrey Epstein story 3 years ago, and her bosses at ABC News spiked it.
And then Alan Dershowitz was also implicated in it because of the planes. She told me everything. She had pictures. She had everything. She was in hiding for 12 years. We convinced her to come out. We convinced her to talk to us. It was unbelievable what we had. Clinton, we had everything. I tried for 3 years to get it on, to no avail, and now it's all coming out, and it's like these new revelations, and I freaking had all of it. I'm so pissed right now. Like every day I get more and more pissed because I'm just like, oh my God, what we had was unreal.
Our insider told us this tape was
I'm gonna pause too. Dude, these people can't keep getting away with this shit. This is so fucked.
Reported earlier this year in late August, a day or so after this NPR report came out sharply criticizing ABC News for not broadcasting the Robach Giuffre interview years ago.
ABC has episodically covered the scandal, yet the interview was never broadcast, and Giuffre says she was never told why.
Other women backing it up. Hey, Yep.
This is why I'm super grateful for like independent media and like kind of if there's one good thing to come out of social media, because like, you know, social media has got a lot of fucked up shit it comes along with, but if there's one thing to be grateful for, it's the fact that like people actually have a voice and that this kind of stuff could come out now, bypassing like these big media like control these people that control the levers of media, and they're able to like suppress stories that can just come out now because of social media.
Brad Edwards, the attorney, 3 years ago, saying there will come a day when we will realize Jeffrey Epstein was the most prolific pedophile this country has ever known. I had it all 3 years ago.
But the creepy thing is that we would make access to all of these high-profile people.
Well, then I got a little concerned about why I couldn't get on.
On the leaked insider tape, Amy Robach says she had the Jeffrey Epstein story 3 years prior, but her exclusive interview was shelved. Robach says in the leaked tape there was a lot of pressure from Buckingham Palace. According to NPR, the famed lawyer Alan Dershowitz also pressured the network to kill the story.
Shortly before the interview was due to air, Harvard emeritus law professor Alan Dershowitz called the network. He was also one of Epstein's lead defense attorneys.
We wonder if the story was killed to protect the rich and powerful. It seems few were worried
Obviously.
about protecting the women who may have been Jeffrey Epstein's victims. Remember, Epstein was still a free man 3 years ago.
Obviously, because these are people in these are people with the highest levels of power in society. Of course, they think they can get away with it.
And just to be clear,
Speaking of
the interview
independent
has still
media,
not aired. What is ABC?
Yeah, Nicola has a good point. Nicola in chat says this transcends more than left versus right. It's rooting out evil. Yeah, that's why I don't understand. I don't understand people. And you know, I almost wonder if it's like a fucking psyop that people are trying to make this into a partisan thing, because I don't see how it should be partisan. Like that's the part, like it does not connect with my mind of people saying like, oh yeah, but you know, but like Trump and the Republicans they don't want anything to happen because they're implicated. Well, like good, they should get implicated, and if they are implicated, then yeah, fuck them. Right? Like, why are people trying to turn this into a, like, we got to protect our people. We got to protect our side. What side? They're not on my side.
ABC News waiting for, or who are they still protecting?
She told me everything. She had pictures. She had everything. She was in hiding for 12 years. We convinced her to come out. We convinced her to talk to us. It was unbelievable what we had. Clinton. We had everything.
Robach also has no doubt.
Like, if Trump is guilty of this, like, let me present you a situation. Say Trump is guilty of this, like 100%, and like, you know, this is, you know, of course, like, you know, there's witch hunts and stuff like that. There's a lot of like accusations. There's like ways that they could witch hunt Trump and try to implicate him in it when he's not. But let's say that there was 100%. Let's just like go so far as to say that as God himself like spoke through the heavens and said, Leaflit, Trump is guilty. He was a part of the Epstein thing. Then I'd say, yeah, fuck him. I'd be sad about it because I'd be like, oh man, he was so good. I'd be like, man, he was so good. Why does this have to, why? But then I'd be upset about it. But like, obviously, like, fuck him still. Right? Like, I don't understand like why this is a side thing at all. I don't get it.
About what happened to Epstein when he finally was arrested and jailed.
So do I think he was killed? 100%. Yes, I do. Because he made his whole living blackmailing people. Yeah. There were a lot of men in those planes, a lot of men who visited that island, a lot of powerful men who came into that apartment.
Idiots to sow discourse between the lower class.
That's what I'm starting to think. I'm starting to think a lot of this bullshit. Oh, by the way, Chlorajets, thank you so much for the bits as well. Thank you, Jack and Chlorajets. I appreciate it. I'm starting to think that a lot of like the hyper partisanism and a lot of the fighting, just like everything being so what am I'm trying to say here, the divide like in society now between the left and right. I'm starting to think like this shit is like on purpose. Like it really does feel like some control mechanism that was like created on purpose. And like, I don't know, call me fucking tinfoil foil hat, Alex Jones. It feels like a lot of this is fake. Just to make it so that we're just fighting each other rather than fighting them. Because they're the problem, right?
I mean, when I heard he was found dead, was Giselle someone?
I knew immediately. And they made it seem as though he made that suicide attempt 2 weeks earlier, but his lawyers claimed that he was roughed up by his cellmate around the neck. That was all.
Do they totally beat his ass?
All like to plant the seed, and then that's why I really believe it. Like, really believe it.
I'm so okay. You know what though? There's one thing though. I'm absolutely shocked that this guy does not. How did this guy not have a dead man switch? If his whole thing was like blackmail, how did he not have a dead man switch? How did he not back up all of this shit at a place where it could be fired at any time?
The last of the leaked tape has Robach talking about alleged Epstein conspirator Ghislaine Maxwell.
What's a dead man switch? It's basically like if you do something to me, then this happens. It's basically like you would set it up like for instance that you have a person that you know overseas that has access to data, and that the data will be like released to the public in the event that something happens to you.
And how she should be very careful.
He's got to have
Thanks for the follow, Mark.
evidence, like in the unexplained.
Well, Ghislaine Maxwell, who I had all sorts of stuff on her too. I love it. I'm like, it's so funny to hear everyone say her name now, because I'm like, oh my God, like I had all this, and everyone was like, who's that? Who cares? I kept getting that. Who cares? She knows everything. She knows. She should be careful. Well, she was his, like, she went out and recruited all of these girls.
I watched the whole documentary on the whole thing, and like Ghislaine Maxwell, and like, dude, what's fucked up is like they would recruit a girl, you know, they would essay her, and then they would like convince the girl that got essayed to like recruit other people, and then they would pay them. Did you guys know about that? That's how they did it. They would like get a girl, you know, do the thing to her, and then be like, you want to make some money at least? And then like they would pay her to recruit her friends.
She should watch her back. Because if she goes, I mean, I'd have like security guards all around.
And like the stories are weird. Like the stories are so weird. Like they'd be like, yeah, all you have to do is massage this old man, and he would be like all oiled up and shit. It's weird. It's fucking really weird.
The brave insider who leaked this tape to us does not know who at ABC News spiked the story, but someone at ABC does. Our question: who killed the Epstein story at ABC News and why? Help us find out. James Goldstein.
Age says it's kind of odd that Epstein didn't have a dead man switch. I definitely would have had. Yeah, because if his entire if Epstein's entire play was blackmail, if that's like what he did, which is the allegations, right, is that he was basically the allegations is that Jeffrey Epstein had this network of, you know, fulfilling people's dark sexual fantasies, and then he would record tapes of them in the act of it, and then he would use that as leverage in order to get more power. If your entire playbook is blackmail, how do you not have a dead man switch? That doesn't make any sense to me.
Is the president of ABC News.
Molotov says Epstein was doing it on behalf of state governments. I have heard this theory as well. And let's just say that the theories point to a very specific country. I'm not going to say more.
What did he know? And when did he know it? Here's the landline number for ABC News President Goldstein and his Twitter account. If you're an insider at ABC News or any other major media outlet or big tech company, and you have seen corruption or bias, contact us at projectveritas.com/brave.
Be a catalyst for change. Be brave. Do something.
I want to know who did it. I want to know. I want to know who started this whole thing. Is that real? Dreadful. Is that real? Hold on, I'm gonna look that up. Ghislaine Maxwell's father is named Robert Maxwell, who is born Czech-born British media mogul who built a publishing empire. He owned like a bunch of publications. He had a mysterious death November of 1991 where he fell off a yacht near the Canary Islands. And the theories range from suicide to assassination. So the Mossad theory, there's no definitive proof apparently, unless some new information came out. There's no definitive proof that he was actually Mossad, but he had ties to Israeli intelligence, and he was buried on. Is this real? He was buried on Jerusalem's Mount of Olives, attended by Israeli dignitaries, and then Prime Minister Yitzhak Shamir said that Robert Maxwell has done more for Israel than can today be said. That's interesting. So it's not proven that he was a super spy, but the theory is that he was a super spy. And again, this is again allegations, speculations. None of this is confirmed. Why would it be, right? It would be very difficult to if they were doing their job correctly, and he was indeed a super spy. It shouldn't be easy to confirm. So again, a lot of this is speculation. Several sources speculate the Mossad connection. Ari Ben Menash, a former Israeli intelligence operative, claimed in books and interviews that Robert Maxwell worked for Mossad and introduced his daughter Ghislaine and Jeffrey Epstein to the agency. So this is in a book from a former Israeli intelligence operative. Interesting. So it's entirely possible that Robert Maxwell had non-official ties with the Israeli intelligence. Again, we don't know what that is, but there's no clear definitive evidence. And again, why would there be? There wouldn't be, right? If they're actually as good an intelligence agency as we are all led to believe, why would they have a clear tie? They would obviously have certain degrees of separation to make it so you couldn't just point to them, right? Does that make sense? But again, we don't know if that's true. It could be just a coincidence. Many coincidences, maybe, but that's it. Yeah. Mm-hmm. But yeah, apparently like this is true. This part right here, where apparently the prime minister, Israeli dignitary, the prime minister, Yitzhak Shamir, reportedly said that Maxwell has done. Reportedly said. So this isn't like for sure. Reportedly said that Maxwell has done more for Israel than can today be said. Okay, hold on. Let me dig into that real quick. Let me see. Hold on. So that quote so this makes me a little bit sus of this because the actual report of this is from a book, again, from that guy, the Israeli agent we talked about earlier. It's from the book about him being a super spy from 2002. So the book talking about how Robert Maxwell was a super spy would, of course, have reason. They would have what's the word? They would have incentive, basically, to play him up and use and say that the prime minister said this. There's apparently no video evidence of this being the case. But there are some facts, though. The fact is that he was buried. So this one is absolute fact, is that Robert Maxwell is buried on the Mount of Olives, which is a prestigious Jewish cemetery. That is well documented and true. Yeah, it's hearsay, basically. It's like this person said this. This person said that, so-and-so said that the prime minister said this at the funeral. Basically, none of it was recorded. So there's no like audio recordings, transcripts, video of this. It is just a claim by a few books, basically. So whether or not that's like the truth is kind of hard to actually look into. But again, what we do know is the truth is that he was indeed buried at a prestigious cemetery. So is this actually a prestigious cemetery? I'm going to look into it. Mount of Olives. I don't know much about this, to be honest. Mount of Olives Cemetery. It is. It is a prestigious Jewish cemetery. Well, there you have it. That's as much as we know about it. Are we sure he's dead, though? I mean, he would be pretty old at this point, right? Interesting information. Hopefully we find out more.